Ayurveda, and then I will stop. Now, you all know what Ayurveda means. It's the science of life. And our country in particular is famous for this great gift to mankind. And it's all about a healthy lifestyle. And basically, I'm not an expert on Ayurveda, but it basically tells a human being um, what is it that you must do if you want to have a long life. And it says that you must keep your wind, your bile, and your phlegm in balance. And then, if you go to an Ayurvedic doctor, he will ask you various questions, as a result of which he will try to get this things in balance. Now, any person's future is determined by three factors: inherited genes. You can't do much about it, but that's only 15, 20%, maybe 25% of who you are. Just because your father had a heart problem or blood pressure or cancer, it doesn't mean you'll also get it. Much more depends on how you lead your life. We all know this, but it's good to remember these things and recall them. Improper diet, lifestyle, etc., they disturb the balance of the elements. And the third one is negative thinking. Now, I wrote an article in the newspaper, I get letters to the editor, I get people who write back. There are some people who say all independent directors are bad, all businessmen are crooks. I don't know how to, I can't engage in a discussion with that person. I said, it's your opinion and you're entitled to your opinion. He said, this is the trouble with people like you. He's telling me. He said, there's a trouble with people like you because you're not willing to engage in a debate. On email, to have a discussion that every director is a crook, no independent director is independent. I don't know how to do it without getting uncivil. And why should I spend my time? So I consider that negative thinking. He might have had some experience which has caused him to come to the view. Let it be. So what this means in terms is your mind, your soul, and your energy are all in balance. Now I apply this to society. I said it's the same principle of Ayurveda, apply it to society. And if you apply it to society, then you find there are three E's that come up. Energy, which is provided by business for the reason that I mentioned earlier this evening. Why is Bombay pulsating? Bombay is pulsating because whether you're selling chana on the light crossing of, or you're a dabbawala who's carrying dabba at the train, it's pulsating. Everybody's busy here. They're, in fact, too busy. But you go to certain other cities, and I won't be undiplomatic, they seem to have a lot of time. 5 guys hanging around a tea shop. And you know economically, one has got energy and one doesn't have energy. So that's the first and most important aspect of an economy when you apply the principles of Ayurveda. The second is the practices in the company, the equivalent of mind, how people are working. And I call that the cultural advancement. I called it education, for lack of a better word. Are people being trained? Are people being given new jobs to do? Are they being refreshed? Or are they doing the same job for the last 35 years? Then you are going to reach a certain level of stagnation. And the third E, energy, education, is eudemonia. Now, this was the only one that requires explanation because it's a Greek word. Eudemonia is a very nice Greek word which means a feeling of being well. And you need a society to have eudemonia. Acha hai, no negative thoughts, positive thought. What happens to you on Sunday if you've gone to the Jain Mandir or the Pravachan or whatever? You feel good. The Monday morning again everything gets disturbed. So this is the secret for a company to have long life, just like it's a secret for a human being to have long life. We all know the secrets, but we don't practice them. So I started to study with somebody else. And here's what I came to about how to create a long living company. Manage stress. Now, this looks like a good human being, huh? Sorry, for human beings, these are the manage stress rather than get overwhelmed by stress. The second one, this is Ayurveda, huh? Meditate and calm your mind. Nothing new, huh? I'm telling you nothing which you don't know. I'm just putting it into bullet points. The third one is maintain relationships and friendships. We don't know how much it contributes to our. So that's why in a building society, a cooperative building society is a unique agglomeration of uncooperative people. The Bombay Cooperative Society Act should redefine it that when uncooperative people get together into the same premises, we will call it a cooperative society. Because people, you won't know if your neighbor died unless she or he died in the lift. You say, "Aaya, mara chala gaya." Do something, but for the community and for others, not only for yourself. And the last one is earn enough, but not too much. This is, I don't know what you're going to do. Nowadays, they calculate everything in billions. हमको अपने अकल में आता नहीं है. You must have enough to, and be happy. Because at a certain point of time, in the US, they've established that if you have more than $75 to $100,000 per annum income, you start going into the zone of unhealthy. If I multiply $100,000, it comes to 50 lakhs, 60 lakhs. You want to make it a crore, fine. You want to earn 6 crores for 3 years and then you'll have nothing to do. If your nature of your job is like that, if you're a sportsman or a film artist, that's fine. But if you have much more than that, you start to. And I've actually written a book on this called Crash, which is published by Penguin, where I've shown that having too much of it, of power, actually damages your brain, which is the one that's reviewed in your BCAS book. So I went, my co-author and I, in another book that we are writing, went and said, surely somebody has studied this. What has it found? And I've got a library in my house which is called Long Life Companies. That's what gave me the idea. One is written by Japanese, on Japanese long life companies. Second is written by Europeans, on Europe's long life companies. The third is written by Americans, on America's long life company. I said, is there a book on Indian long life companies and what we can learn? There is one on Tata, there is one on Godrej, there is one on Bajaj. And many of them turn out to be commissioned by that company, so it's sort of written in a particular way. But what is interesting is what is the principle of long life. And here I want to tell you the mantra. The Japanese research book says clear values and mission. And I think this is an opportunity for chartered accountants. Why chartered accountants? Because if you're working for a company, and I'm talking of the professional accountant, not the internal financial manager, you have a chance to observe these things. And I think it's an additional service other than tax audit and this audit, that audit, to bring a managerial perspective to the data you collected out of your audit exercise. And it is not statutory. Don't tell the Companies Act or SEBI because then they will make it mandatory. Just give it as an additional service. Even don't charge a fee. And say, this is our opinion. If you don't like it, reject it. Phukad mein deta hai. That's how you build up a business and a practice. Because I would hope in 20 years' time, every decent chartered accountancy firm can offer this service, and hopefully at that time for a fee. Are you following long life practices in your company? First, clear values and mission over a long period of time. Second, a strategic and a long-term approach. These are the Japanese company secrets. Third, focus on human beings and merit system. Fifth, socially minded and building the nation. If you think of some of our long life companies, even in Bombay, not far from here, you'll start to see that Japanese companies and Indian companies are not different. And they need not be different. Very adaptive and innovative. Frugality in using resources. Frugality, not splashing it around. And cultivate culture and legacy. Japanese use the word culture to mean लोगों की तरक्की होनी चाहिए. I then looked at the European and I've summarized it all, and I came to the conclusion that there is a piece of work to be done here in spreading the Ayurvedic mantra, because it's exactly the same as in Ayurveda. You say that mind, body, and soul. If you see a company where these are out of kilter, people are fighting with each other, they're not thinking long term, you're thinking short term. Go to a startup. I mean, they're only thinking of valuation. I mean, perpetually, how many more billion? Uh, I don't know why they are worth 17 billion. I haven't understood. After 50 years of my career, I feel like a Dumbo when I see young people. I say, why have you started a company? He says, so I can exit. Are? Why have you made a baby? Because I can marry her off and, you know, it doesn't seem to make too much sense from a long term. But then people say, oh, that's the trouble with you oldies. And then I shut